Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to strengthen your wrists, your elbows and your forearm muscles. So the first exercise that we're doing is for pronation and supination. And to do this, I'm going to be using an Indian club. I'm just going to start with my elbows in by my side. The reason I'm keeping them in by my side and not letting them come out is because I want that rotation to actually come from the forearm, from the elbow. If you're moving out like this, it's going to be like a cheap rep. You're not going to get true pronation and supination. I'm just going to start by pronating. I'm going to go as far as I can, and then I'm going to go in the opposite direction now, and I'm going to supinate all the way around again. I'm going as far as I can. Once I reach that end range, I'm coming back up into the center. I can pause here for a minute, just make sure everything's okay, and then we're going for another rep. And usually when I'm doing this, I'm treating this as like a strength exercise. So I quite often do it when I'm training arms, and I'm gonna do about 8 reps. It can be 12 reps, stay in that kind of like hypertrophy range and go for about 3 sets. And just nice and controlled. If you're getting pain, then that's an indication that maybe you need to lower the weight slightly. For the next exercise, we're also gonna be focusing on the elbows, this time in pronation only. To do this, I'm gonna be doing reverse curls, reverse bicep curls. The reason I'm focusing on reverse curls is because commonly what you'll see people performing a lot of, and for good reason because it strengthens your biceps, is that supinated bicep curl, or even using like a neutral grip where they're alternating, they're rotating in the elbows, but we're actually going to strengthen it in this overhand position here. So you want to pick an appropriate weight again. I've got 2 5-kilogram plates on the end of the barbell, but we're just going to pick up the barbell with an overhand grip. Like I mentioned in the other exercise, you want to make sure that you're keeping your elbows in by your side. And from here, what we're going to do is just treat it like a normal bicep curl. We're going to curl up as high as we can, all the way up, and then control it down. Keeping the elbows in by the side. What you don't want happening when you're doing this is elbows out, because you're losing that pronation. So keep the elbows in by your side. And again, this is a strength exercise. I'm going to treat this like bicep curls, for example. I'm going to do 3 sets of 8 to about 12 reps. So if you're like what I was like in the beginning, I found actually doing that with the barbell very uncomfortable because I couldn't get into pronation. The barbell was too fixed. Maybe something like an easy bar would be a good alternative here, but if you don't have an easy bar, then just grab some dumbbells. So I'm going to try to maintain that pronation as I come up, but it doesn't have to be as strict as it was with the barbell. What you also need when you're strength training is good grip, strong grip. So I'm going to show you an exercise for that. And as I said in the beginning, you need that flexion and you need that extension in the wrist. So the first exercise that we're going to do is working on strengthening the forearm muscles, strength and flexion of the wrist. So for the wrist flexion exercise, we're going to be using a resistance band. You'll quite often see people doing wrist flexion with like wrist curls. Common exercise, you see this in the gym a lot. I really like this exercise, but for this, I'm gonna be showing you one with the resistance band. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with the resistance band at about shoulder height, and then we're gonna flex the elbow, okay? So we've got that bicep fully engaged. And then here, from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna engage these muscles here in the forearm, okay? That are responsible for flexion, and pull the wrist down as much as you can. So you can see it's like a curl, but you're doing this with the wrist. We're really trying to get that flexion as much as we can. And straight away, if you've got if you've chosen a good resistance and it's not too heavy, then you're really gonna feel this muscle in here, engaging and contracting to pull that wrist into flexion. And again, for this, we're gonna do 8 to 12 reps, and we're gonna go for about 3 sets. So next up, we're gonna be working on wrist extension. This is a massively common area for people to be restricted in. People quite often complain of having pain in the wrists when they're doing things like push-ups and handstands. It actually holds them back quite a bit. So for this exercise, I'm going to focus on building end range strength using an isometric stretch. To do this, we're going to go onto our hands and knees, and then we're going to go into wrist extension here. Okay, so if you feel the stretch here, then stay if you can't go any further. But if you feel like, your end range is a bit further than that, then just pull yourself into that a little bit further. You're gonna feel that stretch on the back of your forearms here. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hold this stretch for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes is up, we're just gonna do a couple of isometrics in this position here. First isometric we're doing is just driving our knuckles and our fingers down into the ground. So engaging the muscles on the back of the forearm here. So I'm gonna go for 10 seconds. I'm doing a max contraction. It's as hard as I can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm instantly gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna try and pull my knuckles and my fingers up now away from the ground. They're not actually gonna lift, but I'm engaging the muscles on this side of the forearm now, pulling me deeper essentially into extension, which is what we want. We're strengthening that end range. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once that's up, we're just gonna move back into that stretch a little bit deeper. If you've got a little bit extra range of motion, then go into that end range again. And we're just gonna do 2 more of these contractions. So pushing down into the ground for 10 seconds, and then pulling away from the ground for 10 seconds. And you can even add an extra set in there at the end if you're feeling like it. So another thing that I'm constantly working on in my training is my grip strength, because obviously your grip strength is actually correlated to life expectancy. So the stronger your grip, the longer your life expectancy. Another thing about grip strength is you're going to be using it pretty much in every exercise. So it does get worked quite a lot, but I still like to incorporate it into my training. So I'll do loaded carries. So one of the things I like to do is farmer's carries, and this can be done with anything, but here, just an example, I'm using dumbbells. You can either hold it here, and this is gonna work your grip strength, or you can walk with it and do farmer's carries. But basically the idea is that you're picking up something heavy with a strong full grip for an extended period of time. So think about your time under tension. You don't just wanna do it for 10 seconds. You wanna be doing it for like the length of an entire set, so about 30 seconds. So one of the ways I do this is through carries. Another way I do it is through hanging. Hanging wise, I hang from anything. And it can be using a thick bar or a thin bar, it really doesn't matter. The more variation, the better. Start with a dead hang, work on your grip, and use things like resistance bands. Put one foot on the ground, you don't have to take your entire body weight straight away, but the idea is that you get comfortable hanging from rings, bars, anything. Start strengthening the wrists, forearms, and shoulder muscles. That pretty much rounds up this video today. Just wanted to share a couple of the exercises that I do for my wrists, forearms, and elbows. I hope you liked the video. If you did, then please subscribe to our channel and let me know what you would like us to cover in future videos.